words of wisdom for the kids out there?
Drink plenty of fluids on a hot day and get high in the music, not the drugs.
Welcome back, winners and losers, to another episode of Take the Points. I'm your host, Fat Sam. With me here, as always, the world-famous T-Bone.
Present.
And our legal counsel and enforcer, Joey Guns. So, without further ado, let's get started. So we'll talk about Week 13 really quick. We all hit our lock picks.
Good week.
It was a very good week. And T-Bone, your lock from last week was the Saints?
Yes.
Want to tell us about it a little bit?
Yes. So,
Okay.
Taysom Hill. I said last week that after 2 weeks he had shown me enough where I was willing to buy into what he was selling. And he delivered last week again. So he was 27 of 37, 232 yards, and 2 touchdowns, which that sounds like a pretty damn good day for most quarterbacks, you know? And you throw that on top of a rushing 14 times for 83 yards. So from a fantasy perspective, that's outstanding.
I used him in my fantasy lineup.
Exactly. And he's not a tight end, Brian.
I know. No, Come on, T-Bone.
Sorry.
Joey's going to have to edit that out. You're right. He's not a tight end, but I used him as a quarterback, and he had a great day.
He did. And then also on top of that, you know, a lot of fantasy owners were disappointed Alvin Kamara hadn't been doing much lately. But he turned in a productive 15 for 88 and a touchdown. So I think overall, you know, it was Atlanta. They had just played 2 weeks prior to that, so I wasn't quite sure how it would play out. But, you know, New Orleans is showing. Right now, they're probably the class of the NFC. And even without Drew Brees, they're winning. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters, especially heading into the playoffs. So it was a good week for
It was
that.
a good pick. It was a good lock pick. And my lock pick last week was Indy.
Another good pick.
I loved them, and that worked out exactly as I thought it was going to. I had no worries about them covering that spread last week. So that lock pick came through, and
I actually, on my fantasy, replaced, what's the guy from Arizona, Kyler Murray?
Kyler Murray
With Phillip Rivers. And that was a gamble. Because if I lost that game, I wasn't getting in the playoffs.
Sure.
And Phillip Rivers delivered more than what Kyler Murray did. So
yeah, they had a good game.
he's been playing well, even with his turf toe. He's playing really well.
Joey, who just barely missed his parlay pick of the week last week because of the Steelers, but there was COVID issues there, and of course that game wasn't. Connor wasn't playing, and I really think it was a look past game. But his lock pick was Green Bay, and that also was a great pick that came in. So real quick, we just wanted to mention that also last week we mentioned that I thought the Giants was a great money line pick, had a good chance of beating Seattle, and that came through too. So hopefully you took some of those to the book last week and made a little money. As always, if you want all our picks, you can find us on Patreon, or if you liked some of our analysis and wanted to send us some love, PayPal description is below. So without further ado, let's move on to Week 14. It's hard to believe we're already there. Week 14, the season's flown by. It's been a really wacky season. A couple weeks left. Teams fighting for playoff spots, fighting for seeding, and
Fighting for COVID.
right, fighting for their jobs.
Through it.
So there's still a couple weeks out there to make some cash. So we're gonna start off. T-Bone, your lock pick this week, which is
I'm going out on a limb.
You're going out on a limb a little bit, but we'll let you talk about that. He likes the Detroit Lions.
I do. And when you first hear that, I know the instant reaction knowing they're playing Green Bay is, oh my God, what are you thinking? And I get that to an extent. But when you look at the last 4 times they've played in Detroit, they've actually split. Two out of 4 games. Detroit beat Green Bay in Detroit.
This game is in Detroit.
And Detroit is plus 7.5. I think that's maybe doable, but I would most likely tease that to at least 9.5, if not 10.5. I like 9.5, 10.5 better. It's hard to say what's going to happen. Last week, that was our first week, I believe, playing with the new interim head coach, Darrell Bevell. And he plays loose. He lets him play loose. He doesn't, he's not like Matt Patricia. He's not real tight, and I think the players responded, just like we always say, when a coach gets fired, the team tends to respond well. Well, last week, Matt Stafford was 27 for 42, 402 yards, 3 TDs, and an interception at the Bears. And we know the Bears have a good defense.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that just shows you that, that coach is willing to kind of take the reins off, so to speak. So, I think this could be a bit of a trap game for Green Bay. I'm not kidding. I love Aaron Rodgers. I think they've got the best weapons in the world, especially.
MVP candidate this year?
Exactly. And Detroit, we know, doesn't have a defense. But for some reason, I say go with Detroit and the points.
Take the points. You're not thinking. I don't
Exactly.
think they're going to win.
No,
I can see them covering.
I
I don't see them winning this game.
I could see him hanging around long enough and scoring like maybe a field goal towards the end just to freaking get into that, whatever the points were. But like I said, lean more towards 9.5, if not 10.5.
I don't see him sending a 12-man blitz at the end of the game.
Not like the Jets. 0 coverage.
Okay, so that's a good pick. And my lock pick of this week 14 is
You're San Francisco.
I'm going to take San Francisco 49ers at home. Right now the line is -3. They're at home against the Washington football team Skins. And I think this is a little bit of an overreaction line. I think there's a little bit. Alex Smith is going back to San Francisco.
Washington.
Too much revenge. They just beat Pittsburgh. They're riding high. They're playing well. All those are true. They're riding high and playing well. But I can't discount Shanahan at San Francisco. They're getting healthy. Last week I think was Mostert and Samuel's first full week back, and I just think this is I see San Francisco winning this by a touchdown at home, and the Washington bubble getting deflated a little bit this week. So I'm going to say lay the points, take the 49ers -3. That's my lock pick of the week, and take that one to the bank. So we'll move on to Joey Guns. Joe, who do you like this week?
Thanks, Sam. That's a good segue into my pick for the week, parlay pick of the week. I got 2 teams for you. I think you're going to do well. First of all, San Francisco. Thanks for passing it along because that's the team I'm taking this week.
Oh, nice.
I think, I don't think they have much of a playoff shot at this point, but I think they're still playing for pride. And I think Alex Smith coming back in there, traveling west. I think, like you said, Shanahan's always got a good game plan. And I think with a lot of the starters being back now, I think, we're just going to see the 49ers getting back to a little bit closer to where we expected them to be prior to a lot of the injuries.
They still have a shot. The NFC West is tough. It's tight, but I think they still have a shot.
I think with Seattle losing, and then
I
know the Rams are probably still I think that put the Rams in the driver's seat.
Yep.
But again, with the extra playoff spot this year, the extra
the third one,
so they could end up in there.
I heard something. Somebody said Kittle might actually make it back this year to play.
I haven't heard, but that
would be
that would
somewhere too, where that maybe he's coming back to play. Which, man, if he could get back at the right time, that would really help.
Right. So I think that's definitely a good pick. And then I think they're gonna, I think San Francisco could easily win by a touchdown. Not out of the question. And then the other pick to go with that, to make it a 2-team parlay, is the New York Giants.
Yeah,
love the Giants.
I like this.
Getting 1.5.
I like this pick
home. A lot. I don't understand it. With Kyler Murray being not 100%.
He's not playing right.
He's not.
Lately.
Yeah, and so they're coming all the way to the Giants. It's going to be cold. It's not an indoor game, and
the Giants' defense.
They're getting 1.5 at home.
The Giants' defense has been solid these last couple weeks. I mean, you've seen them do this before, where all of a sudden their defense starts tightening up.
Yeah,
and look at what they held Seattle to.
Yeah, that was incredible.
I mean, and now they got a hurt Kyler Murray.
Right.
Daniel Jones might be back this week. I heard.
Oh, really?
It's a possibility.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And now my friend Fat Sam is really rooting for the Giants. So
I bet I bet the Giants to win the NFC East about 3 or 4 weeks ago. I got them to 20-1. So
that's why I'm betting on the Giants too. Just give them a little more push. But
they looked good last week.
Yeah, they look.
Can't take it away from them.
Who else is going to Seattle
right.
and holding them to those points? You know. So that's the parlay pick of the week: San Francisco and the New York Giants.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that moves us into our celebrity pick of the week, and we got a phone call on our landline from.
People still have those?
They do. Well, this guy does. He's kind of old school.
All right.
He uses one of those rotary phones.
I think so, probably.
Okay.
But he is a Baltimore celebrity, and he called this week and was real happy about the Baltimore game against Dallas. He thinks Lamar's back and healthy. He thinks they're going to start firing on all cylinders. So
he looked good last week.
So Mr. Ed Norton, very famous Fight Club, Red Dragon, American History X. He called and he is definitely on the Ravens -1 at Cleveland. So
the Cleveland
Browns, who had what their people are saying was a signature game last week.
4 TDs.
Even though I don't know why Mayfield was still throwing the ball when they were up 40 points.
Because they wanted to get some sort of a record.
They almost lost.
That's Cleveland.
Yeah.
That's the Cleveland Browns. And then when they should have just been running the ball and running out the clock, Mayfield's still out there flinging the ball around. So
now, did Ed mention if Lamar Jackson was back?
He says he's back.
Okay.
And I think he has a direct line. We don't have a direct line to Lamar, but I think him
does.
and Ed hang out.
Ed
I think
does,
they're buds. I don't think they're hanging out in the bars in Baltimore because everything's closed down. Or going to be closed down as of Friday. But
Really?
I think they're chill. I think they're chill friends. And he says they're back. I don't know. I think Andrews is back this week. Not that he's done much this year, but he's off the COVID list. So, the Ravens are kind of getting healthy. And, this is Cleveland's moving to that time of the year where they're going to play the Ravens. They're going to play the Steelers again. We'll see what they're made of.
People are dying to get on this Browns bandwagon.
Not me.
I could just see Baltimore crushing their hopes.
Right. So that's what he says. Ed Norton, Baltimore Ravens -1 Monday night at Cleveland.
There you go.
Okay,
Barring
so
any COVID changes.
Yeah, barring any COVID changes, of course. So I think that pretty much wraps us up for Week 14. I don't know. We'll go around the table real quick. T-Bone, anything else you wanted to add?
That's good. The only thing another one that I'm saying, watch out. Tampa Bay, I think, is going to trash Minnesota pretty bad.
Yeah, if you want that pick, if you want our picks, as always, become a patron on Patreon.
Like, subscribe,
send us some money on PayPal, and we'll give you all the picks. We'll give you T-Bone's super secret. Double secret probation Denver Carolina pick that you want this pick. You want to know what T-Bone thinks about Denver Carolina. So send us some cash, man. All right, Joey, anything else?
Take it home, Fats.
All right, so that's going to do it for Week 14. As always, good luck, good fortune out there, you winners and losers. And we'll see you next week right here. Take it home.